We're back. These next two issues in this segment and in the segment after, the Superman Reborn Aftermath, I'm going to say that right now, we're reading stories, and I feel like they're kind of out of place. Where we're reading, where does this one fit? Where does Superman fit with Action Comics? And where does Action Comics fit with Superwoman? And when we get to the Trinity issue, we kind of see where the roadmap goes.
Yep.
Right now, we're getting a couple of different sides to the story, and we're hoping that they connect. But pieces are being laid out, and we're starting to see that what happened with Superman, with Mxyzptlk and Oz, has really created a huge tidal wave. I want to say ripple. It's really affected this DC universe, this rebirth.
Yeah.
Right now. This is a major point because we're about 1 year on the 1 year anniversary of Rebirth. Superman number 21, Black Dawn, chapter 2. What did you think of this issue?
This is nice. Superman has been a little more self-contained than some of the other Superman Rebirth titles we've read that leave kind of a lot of questions.
Yes.
In this and last issue, the only real questions I've had have been about the plot itself. I mean, I'm not asking, okay, where's, what happened to so-and-so? How does this all connect? I mean, this is pretty straightforward. It's Batman and Robin coming to Hamilton to meet with Superman and his family. And Batman's just gone out to go investigate the local dairy farmer, Mr. Cobb.
Yes.
Who's Kathy's grandpa or father?
I think grandpa.
Grandpa. I'm assuming grandpa, yeah. And Batman doesn't come back that night.
No.
Because he was attacked by what looked like his hand or his something from the milk.
Yes.
The milk. When
he was attacked by a bottle of milk organism.
Yeah.
Don't know what it was yet.
Yeah. And that's what they're trying to figure out. I mean, not even trying to figure that out, just trying to figure out where's Batman. So it's Damian forced to have a sleepover with the Kent family. Which is hilarious unto itself. I cannot say how much enjoyment I get out of the mixture of Damian and John.
I do. I as well. Rise it never.
Yeah.
Begrudgingly. Early bird gets the worm, Robin. You make that up. And then they find out where has my father come back yet? He didn't leave a note. Batman doesn't need to leave. The interaction, the banter back and forth, it's the odd couple. It really is.
Oh, yeah.
I could hear the 1960s music whenever that show. Dun, 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 dun. And you'll see little Jonathan picking up after Damian and everything. We got a couple of plots. Mr. Cobb and Kathy are, you called it with the eyes.
The weirdos.
Yes.
They're weirdos. Yeah, and in this, they come over in the morning to give out the milk. And Cobb even makes some really weird reference that, because they were calling Damian Garth.
Yes.
That was his code name. Well, if Garth is a good boy, I might bring him milk tomorrow. And Clark makes some mention that Crypto stays real close to John in this. And on the way out, Cobb, he pets Crypto on the head and looks at him and says, that's a good boy for staying close. And you see Crypto's eyes turn purple in the end. It's like, okay, what did you just do? What's up with you?
Right.
You can't be a human at this point if you're, I don't know, mind controlling the dog or something. And then right after that, we see some shadowy guy smoking, watching images of what's going on, and he's mentioning Prince John, which is probably John, and that there are meddlers in town, and he needs to go. He needs to cause a distraction.
Yes.
And that's the giant squid octopus thing that Superman John fought in Superman number 2 shows up in Hamilton at the county fair, naturally. It would be time for the county fair.
Right. So they dispatched that squid octopus monster kind of we saw in Superman number 2 to the county fair, you said. And Superman, Damian, and Jonathan are looking for Batman. Each with they're on Superman's back flying. They stop at the fair because of the squid.
Yeah.
And we kind of start to see the difference with rural America, Hamilton, even though Superman is protecting him, they weren't really happy with how it happened.
Yeah, and that was something even Mr. Cobb mentioned when he met with the Kents that morning. He said, we can't really rely on Superman to protect us all the way out here. The irony being that he's talking to Superman. And it's when they're fighting the big squid monster, Superman traps it, what was that, under a Ferris wheel or something, in the water. And somebody says, well, what if it gets out? And then, of course, it gets out. It injures the town reporter, and it's John who either kills it or pretty badly wounds it with his heat vision.
Because before, the citizens were, do something with your heat vision with it. Well, I don't know if I should, but once his teacher and the reporter get hurt, boom, he goes off.
Yeah.
And Superman's not happy. I don't think he was not happy. He was kind of displeased. At first, he had told them to lay back, but they didn't, of course.
Naturally.
Because Damian is the bad influence. And then he said, now after you've done that, there's going to be some times of you're going to have to think about your actions, because Jonathan said, well, maybe they're right. Maybe we have to change what we are. And Damian just kind of sitting there. Wants to say something.
Yeah, can we get back to can we get back to the main plot now? Can we find my dad now?
So Superman says, Jonathan is talking to Damian. Or no, Jonathan's actually talking to his dad about the old haunted house, because something about what haven't you told me about. I forgot how that came up.
Dead Man's Swamp.
Yeah, Dead Man's Swamp.
I think it was Robin mentioned to Damian, hey, didn't you tell me about this crazy swamp where you were chased by all these things with, he called her just the blonde girl or the blonde.
Yep.
And that was something that Superman said, hey, don't go there. And that was also something that Mr. Cobb never mentioned either, because it was Cobb who was the one who got him out of there originally, and Cobb never mentioned it, so that arouses Superman's suspicions about Cobb.
Yep.
So then he goes to the house and essentially grounds Damian and John.
Yeah, why he does that, though, the bigger part of the issue is Damian and Jonathan are they argue, and of course they kind of fight. Kathy comes and tells Garth to stop, and we see these powers that Kathy has.
Yeah,
a little scary.
Yeah, I mean, she pretty much Darth Vader chokes Damian out, and then even blocks John's heat vision with what looks like telekinesis, and then it shuts off his heat vision just by, looking at him.
Something she was saying, something like he won't let you use these powers if you're not good.
Yeah.
And trying to keep John safe.
Yeah, and essentially says, we're trying to protect you, kind of. So it's a really weird.
Yeah, that one went very weird, very at the very end, just very weird.
Yeah.
In a good way of, okay, now we're getting some resolution to what little subplots have been dropped.
Yep. I think we knew she was creepy.
No, you knew
from the
she
beginning.
was creepy.
It was probably just the artistic style in that first issue, but those eyes, holy crap, that was.
Yes, and we see Superman going into Dead Man's Swamp's house.
Yep.
What's going to happen there? We don't know.
Yeah.
Did you notice, back to the Inkman, did you notice that when he was there in the foreground, while he was looking at the monitors, we see a wooden leg?
Yes.
And isn't that from Dinosaur Island?
Could be. I couldn't tell.
Wasn't that from like the Land That Time Forgot, one of those soldiers with the wooden leg?
It could have been. I couldn't really tell if it was a wooden leg or if it was like kind of the solidified inky stuff.
Okay.
Like Batman was covered in. But that would be an interesting. I mean, that would. If it's having the smoking too, that would be like one of the losers. That would be weird.
I wasn't thinking the loser. I was bringing that point.
Yeah.
I was thinking of another character who might have rebirth implications. This is a stretch. I was thinking maybe the comedian. That's a stretch.
Would be. I'm not gonna lie. I thought of it too. I don't know how that would work. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it would be interesting.
The reason I thought that, just the way his sentence structure was, the way he was talking, the way they worded him, the cigarette, and just what we've read this kind of week in this batch of issues, I thought maybe we're seeing our first glimpse of another Watchmen character.
Yeah. Because we don't really know what form the Watchmen are coming in. If this is even the established Watchmen we know, this could be an alternate version of the Watchmen. I mean, Oz is pretty different than if that's Ozymandias, really. That's a very different character than what we've seen from him.
Yeah.
And if this is really Dr. Manhattan doing all this bad stuff, like, I mean, just flipping through DC Rebirth again, when he kills Pandora, like, that would have to be a pretty different Dr. Manhattan. So, yeah, who knows? But yes, that did cross my mind, too.
Okay.
With that. So, who knows?
We don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. That's could be a stretch. But it's one worth noting if it did be. Okay.
I was also thinking,
because
briefly,
in the comic book, didn't it, like, some type of giant squid attack Manhattan in the comic book?
Yeah, that was one of Ozymandias' big,
kind
of the machination there. But I also briefly thought Hellblazer, Constantine.
Okay.
Too, with the smoking, I could, again, the sentence structure kind of reminded me, and the Prince John having kind of that, the English ramifications. But again, that wouldn't make much sense for him to do either.
We're definitely going to see in future episodes when we discuss this title how it comes back into Reborn, what happens with Batman, Superman, Jonathan, and Garth. Superwoman number 9, Steel Resolve. This was on the headache, on the Reverse Migraine. Where did this issue fit in for you?
This was the first of the pretty migraine-inducing ones that I read. I actually didn't see Trinity in the folder originally because it was at the very end. So I read this first, and this was head-scratching and just just like the last couple issues of Superwoman we've read. But I mean, to have this start out, I was kind of happy when it started out because Lana Lang gets spit out of the Kryptonian armor and
Apex armor.
She's fine.
Yeah, she's
amazing.
Yeah, she's fine, and she's lost her powers.
Yeah,
because the power of the Red, which was New 52 Superman, was hiding. She was kind of keeping it safe.
Yeah,
and when it merged with the Blue, and now we have Superman proper, if you want to call him.
Superman Purple.
Yeah, Superman Purple complete, Purple Tat. We have Lana Lang kind of depowered, but the ramifications in this issue is that anything that's happened in the past with New 52 Superman and Superman pre-Flashpoint has been merged. And we don't know exactly, at this point in time, we don't know exactly what constitutes continuity.
Yeah.
What is canon for the Superman. But he did say that Oz did say that everyone around him would be affected by this. And when we talk about Trinity, we're going to talk a little bit more. But so now there's this continuity. So just kind of think of it as we're kind of starting. We know something's happened. The readers know something happened. Superman knows something has happened. His family does. And he's starting to explain it to certain people within his family. And the first one being Lana Lang, where she doesn't have the powers, but she really wanted to have these powers. And Superman says, hey, something big is coming on. I know something happened to you. It happened to me. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to need you to be my Superwoman. And she's saying, without powers, what can I do? And he's saying, you could still be my rock where I need you. You're my hero. You're very strong. You're a lot stronger than you think. And that, I think, is the motivation for Lana Lang to continue to be in Superman's corner. Yeah. Because she has some doubt, at the very beginning of the issue, she has some doubts of where is her place as a person, as a human being? How can she still help people without superpowers? And we see the other plot of the story of the Atomic Skull and Maggie Sawyer trying to, she kind of deputizes Atomic Skull to hunt down the other Rikers, was it Rikers Island? Rikers Island, meta-fugitives. And Atomic Skull kind of goes off the deep, I don't say the deep end, but he goes off grid in a way.
Yeah, well, and he's not really a trained police officer. He's trying to do a lot of really good stuff. This is a very pretty good Atomic Skull. He has a good heart. He just doesn't always think his things through that much. I mean, he does have a lot of power at his fingertips, and he when he ends up fighting Remnant, which is the
Yes.
one he goes after. Remnant ends up endangering the, kind of the nameless thug who's leading him to this stash of weapons.
Yep.
He endangers the rest of the Metropolis SCU crew that Atomic Skull has with him. And Atomic Skull kind of loses it at that point.
Yes, he's gung-ho.
Yeah. But that's one of the things I love, too, is I love seeing villain versus villain fights when there's a villain and, the villain working on the side of the good guys.
Yep.
Because it's always funny to see, the bad villain saying, "What are you doing?
Yep.
Why are you doing this? We're the same. We're doing the same stuff, and you're, you're wearing a badge now." And Remnant's just really confused and indignant at that. And
Right.
Atomic Skull's really trying to take him down hard. Of course, that explodes from the sewers out onto the streets of Gotham, because your name can't be Atomic Skull without
streets of
blowing
Gotham?
Gotham, Metropolis. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. We're talking about
Migraine
Batman.
and
Yeah.
starting up. But yeah, it probably felt like it was through the streets of
They probably felt
Gotham.
it. Probably felt it in Gotham. Yeah, and so of course that's right when Superman and Lana, who had gone to Metropolis to show Lana, what her effect as Superwoman had been, they decided to get involved. And I love how when Superman, takes out Remnant right off the bat, and Atomic Skull sits there saying, "Oh, Superman.
Yes.
Great.
Thanks a lot. All this
Superman
kind
saves
of
the day.
destruction
Yeah.
is not worth it. I don't get to see everyone see what my worth is." And Lana, there's two kids that kind of are in the crossfire from the explosion, and she goes and rescues them, not even thinking about it. That's what type of person she is. Boom. She'll put herself in harm's way. And once that is over with, they get Remnant. Superman and Lana fly away, and she says, "So did you plan this to show me how much I'm truly needed?" No, it just kind of happened, which kind of was coincidental. They're having this talk, boom. Oh, hey, let's get into action. See, you're really needed. Yeah, you planned this, didn't you, Clark? No. And then Maggie Sawyer rips into Atomic Skull saying, "Look, you went off the grid, you did get results, but don't do it again. You follow my orders." She was upset when he said, "Do not engage. We found him and he told me not to engage. I'm going to engage."
Yeah.
He Picarded her engage.
Yeah.
Second Star Trek reference.
Yep. Yeah, so this issue really leaves me wondering, okay, what is Lana Lang's role going to be going on? Because, this series is definitely going to continue on.
Yeah.
Is she, I'm thinking, she has Steel as a boyfriend. She has Natasha Irons as, I guess, who's technically her niece at this point. They both have armor. They both have apparently a gazillion different suits of armor. Is she going to have a suit of armor in the future?
Right, some type of electrical, or some type, not an armor per se, but a kind of a biosuit.
Maybe. Yeah, something to keep her Superwoman with maybe substitute powers.
Yes.
We'll see.
She definitely shows that it isn't the powers that make the hero, it's the hero, it's the person that makes the hero. I will say that I think we'll find out here soon enough just how this Reborn plays, how Lana Lang fits into this story arc.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to see that more in the future. But right now it is a little confusing, but I think the pieces of the puzzle, they're not quite connected yet, but they're starting to be laid out on the table.
Yeah. Yeah, because Superman Reborn really puts her entire series before this
it does.
into question, having Lois there. It's just really strange. So there's a lot of questions, because that was a really good story arc prior to that, and now we're saying, okay, did that really happen?
Pretty much.
Was Lois really there?
Obliterated?
Yeah,
or what happened?
we know. I think we know Lena Luthor is still locked up, so it must have happened.
Right.
Who knows?
We'll see. With that, we're going to take our second break, and when we come back, it is definitely, if this doesn't give Josh a reverse migraine, nothing will. We're talking about Trinity number 8 and the one we've been waiting for, Batman number 21. We'll be back in just a moment.